Hey, welcome everybody to 5:30 Yoga. Grab a mat, grab a water bottle. We'll get going in a couple of minutes, uh, and we hope to see you real soon.
They make RP.
All right. Well, let's get going. My name is Mark Cormier. I teach with the Bay Club. This is my personal feed. Feel free to join in. It's a flow yoga class. We'll do some pranayama. We'll do some meditation throughout the practice, and enjoy. So finding your feet. From your feet, finding your legs. From your legs, finding your spine. Relaxing your shoulders long through all sides of the neck as the crown of the head reaches for the sky. I'll invite you to tuck the chin ever so slightly without straining the neck as we start to take our attention inward. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. I'll invite you to start our practice this evening just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for an evening yoga practice. From this place of just observing your breath, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, long slow inhalation in, long smooth exhalation out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, either keeping the belly soft and letting the air whoosh out, or adding a constriction of the low belly in and up towards the heart to squeeze a little more air out. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to find the Ujjayi or ocean breath, a slight constriction of the base of the throat, to add a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this evening, letting the sound and feel of the Ujjayi breath be a focus for your practice. often compared to the sounds of the waves of the ocean as those waves wash in and as those waves wash out. To this Ujjayi breath, I want you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Trying to keep that tongue loop throughout the practice. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. Finally, before we start to attach breath to movement, one of the definitions of vinyasa, I'll invite you to add, with your lips closed, a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you close your eyes, opening your eyes, warming up our shoulders as we inhale the arms up overhead. And exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Adding a forward fold, half sun salutation. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail as we arc the back. On the exhale, rounding the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Two more times. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. One more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Shanamaskar A, with or without vinyasa, yogi's choice. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, either back to down dog and holding, or cycling through vinyasa as you find chaturanga, the yoga push-up. Inhaling into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then exhaling back to down dog and holding for 5 or 6 long, slow breaths. As you hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands, grounding down through the base of each finger. As you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders, drawing energy up from the floor. Shoulders engaged, neck relaxed and head heavy, or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. On the tail end of that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. On the exhale, rounding the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, neutral spine, hands out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either stretching straight back or cycling through a yoga push-up. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to down dog. Wherever you choose to work, following your breath, finding your flow. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in and as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. On the tail end of that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. We'll add on if you choose. Inhaling into hands over head pose. On the exhale, fold. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either stretching straight back or cycling through a yoga push-up. Inhaling into the back bend. And then exhaling back to down dog. I'll go sideways for the add-on, so certainly feeling free to hold your down dog. From down dog, generating more tapas or heat. I'll invite you to inhale forward to plank pose. And on the exhale, lifting hips high. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling it back. This next one, let's hold for 2 or 3 breaths. Inhaling forward. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And on that next exhale, lifting hips high and holding for another breath or so. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. On the tail end of your breath, looking between your hands as you step, or maybe you take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's work Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. Starts with a chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Adding an extra breath, exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, I'll suggest a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through chaturanga, yoga push-up. Inhaling into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling back to down dog. Or skipping all that and just finding your down dog. Flow style. Big toes touch. Heels slightly apart. I'll invite you to find a 3-legged dog. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that right foot on through, landing it lightly. As we find our warrior one, hands can always find the hips. And then up and over the head. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, finding low lunge as we spin that back heel up. And then back to down dog as you will. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a 3-legged dog, left leg high. High on the right toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that left foot on through. Landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, heel to heel alignment. Finding your balance and then arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Wherever you choose to work, finding that balance between your effort and your ease. Whatever shape you're in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, back to our chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Let's do one more Sternum B. We'll add a hip opening sequence into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or making another choice instead. One of the beauties of the home practice is you've got lots of room to improvise. Again, just following your breath, finding your flow. From down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. I'll allow you to find that three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Now stacking the hips, lifted legs straight. Now bending that top leg, opening up that right hip. I'll allow you to look under that left armpit and try to catch a glimpse of that back foot. From here, sweeping that right foot on through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog. As you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Lifted leg straight, and I'll invite you to stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, looking under the armpit, trying to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Heel to heel alignment for our warrior one. Arms up and over the head. And then on your next exhale, back to low lunge. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. And you take your time. Find your flow. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, back to your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. Long through all sides of the neck, a slight tuck of the chin as we bring your attention back inward. Just watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. And then hands by our side. Let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. Hands find the back of the hips. Welcome, Kathy. Yeah, let me go this way, and you stay over there. And once you come on, you get a little more rug space. Yeah. So feet hip width apart. Hands find the back of the hips. Fingers face down, and just circling those hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's take those circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's pretend we have an extra set of hands. The invisible hands keep our hips steady. Real hands find our shoulders, and we'll circle our shoulders for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now arms in the area like you either do or don't care. We'll take the hips one way, shoulders go the other for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And back to center. Hands by our side. So let's flow through another standing sequence. I'll invite you to step or jump your feet together, thin like a pin. And if that's too tippy, feel free to work a little wider. From here, let's bring hands on hips as we shift weight onto right foot. Left foot gets light. I'll invite you to find a tree pose. Now we have different options here. I'll move back just a tad. You stay right where you are, Kathy. We can find a kickstand tree where we park our heel on top of that ankle knob. Without assistance, maybe challenging your balance a tad more as we bring our foot onto our calf. Most of us can probably make the knee without assistance, but if you do find the knee, make sure you're pushing that knee as hard into the foot as your foot presses into the knee. Recommended if you're going to work this high up is to reach down and catch the foot and bring it above the knee. Toes face down. You might park the base of the toes on that little knee knob, the top thereof. Hands either stay on the hips, or we can use that left hand to open up that left hip a little bit more. Either keeping hands just as they are as we bring hands to heart. Either keeping hands at heart, or we stretch those hands high. Let's play with this shape a little bit more. Now if you fall out of the shape, no big deal. As we find arms out to the side, the palms face up. I'll invite you to take a little twist towards that bent front leg. Inhaling through center and twist it the other way. A couple more times. We inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale into the twist. Inhale through center. Exhale. And then back to center. And we can bring hands to our hips. From here, let's swing that left knee front, leaning a little bit forward as we point the toe down. Either staying right here or lengthening through that leg. Lifting that leg a little higher, whether it's bent or not. And then we'll lightly land it in a cross step. From here, let's press the front of the back knee into the back of the front knee as we lower our center of balance. From here, just like in the sun salves, let an inhale bring the arms out to the side, and then on the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to find length as you arc the spine, lifting chin and tail, and then folding and holding. And I'll invite you to relax the neck and heavy the head as you draw the shoulders up and back towards the hips. As we hold this shape, either holding it in stillness, just seeing what comes up, or adding a little micro movement, a little swing, a little sway. Seeing how your hips feel, how does your back feel? How do your hamstrings, calves, and back of the knee feel? Those of you that added that little bit of micro movement, I'll invite you to add bigger movement now as we circle those hips. Any amount. Could be a big circle, could be a small circle, could be a fast circle, could be a slow circle. Let it be your circle, whatever is right and good for your hips this afternoon. Now taking whatever circle you found the other way. Like stirring cream into your coffee, sugar into your tea. Now coming back towards stillness
let's carefully unwind the legs as we step that front foot back to find our low lunge. In our low lunge, I'll invite you to take the lunge longer for more stretch in your legs. And then even longer. From here, let's walk our hands inside our feet as we make our feet parallel. Toes can angle in just a tad, heels can angle out. Take a breath to lift chin and tail just like in the sun cells. And then folding and holding. Challenging your balance as you bring the fingers back towards the toes. Another great place to release and relax the neck. Head super, super heavy as you draw the shoulders up and back towards the hips. Another option is to find Jalandhara Bandha, long through all sides of the neck as we tuck the chin and we look back towards our navel. As we hold this wide-angled forward fold, I'll invite you to challenge your balance as you rock your body weight front to back, toe to heel, and then connecting with the inside edges of the feet. I like to think of the pad of the big toe as kind of the energy point there. As we draw the energy up the inseams of the legs, where the thighs meet, feeling the root lock, Muladhara Bandha, as you draw the perineum up towards the navel, engaging that ball of energy in the very center of yourself. In our wide-angled forward fold, I'll invite you to walk your hands towards your back foot, left hand outside left foot, right hand catches the outside of the shin. Two straight legs as we look under that armpit. Now adding on as we bend that far leg deeply, pushing it into your foot. Straightening far leg, bending near leg as we push into far foot. Two straight legs, releasing the shin, walking the hands through center. Now right hand outside right foot. Two straight legs as left hand catches the outside of the shin as we look under that armpit. Now bending that back leg, that far leg deeply as we push into near foot. Straightening far leg, bending near leg as we push into far foot. Two straight legs, keep the hands front as we lift up onto the toes. We spin the heels and we'll keep that back heel lifted. Balance challenge here as we move towards crescent lunge prep. Bringing hands to our hips, keeping that back heel lifted. Once you have your balance, let's stretch those hands high to the sky. From here, another balance challenge. Let's bring our arms out to the side, the palms face up. And let's take a little twist away from that front leg. Inhaling through center, let's take a twist towards that front leg. A couple more times. Inhaling through center and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more time each way. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then back to center. Arms up and over the head. From here, let's bring hands to hips, and now let's spin that back heel down for more stability as we find Warrior One, feet heel to heel alignment. From here, let's find a tray in front. From here, we're going to straighten the front leg without locking the knee as we draw our energy into our center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. Think of that Mula Bandha as we draw perineum up towards navel. On the exhale, circling the hands around. A couple more times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. I invite you to hold this shape as we take a big breath into our heart. Now we're going to turn Warrior One into Warrior Two. As hands find the heart, we open up the hips, and we can narrow our stance for heel to arch alignment. Again, if that's too tippy, feel free to work it a bit wider. From here, we find one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Kathy, you stay just as you are. I'm going to go sideways here for a different view. From here,
let's paint rainbows. Straightening front leg, breathing in, palm faces back. On the exhale, warrior two. 2 more times, breathing in and breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out, warrior two. And then bringing hand to the back hip, and let's park our forearm on top of that front thigh. 4 steps on the top arm as we let it hang down to the floor. Now stretching that hand away so it's perpendicular to the body, lots of space in that shoulder. And then we're going to sweep it front as we find lots of length between that back foot and those top fingers. From here, I'll invite you to circle that top hand back as we trace it with our eyes. Exhaling, letting that shoulder soften. Inhaling into extension. Exhaling as we round the spine into flexion. One more time this way, breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, finding length. On the exhale, finding flexion. On the inhale, extension. Exhaling and inhaling. Last one. Exhaling and inhaling and holding. And from here, I'll invite you to come back to your warrior two shape. In our warrior two shape, let's twist it out a little bit. As we twist ourselves center, inhale through center, we twist it the other way. A couple more times, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. One more time each side, inhaling. Exhaling through center, inhaling into the twist. And then back to center, finding our warrior two. And then I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or making another choice instead. You can take your time, find your flow. So Kathy, just to introduce her, is my wife, and she's been practicing yoga for as many years as me, if not more.
You've been practicing longer.
I don't know about that. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come to our chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to the heart, either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet, or adding an isometric engagement as we press those palms together, elbows out to the side, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to find a little mula bandha as you draw perineum up towards the navel, feeling that ball of energy inside the very center of yourself. And then hands by our side. So let's do another rhythmic exercise before we move to our second side. I'll invite you to just keep the feet thin like a pin. A little bit of a balance challenge. As we inhale the arms out to one side, I'll suggest right. On the exhale, bending the knees as you bring hands through center. Inhale, other side. Exhaling through center. Let's do 6 of these. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, halfway down. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more each side. And then back up. And hands by our side. So let's shift weight onto left foot as we move towards that tree pose on our second side. So we can find calf tree. I like to park the heel on top of that little ankle knob. It's a nice little shelf. If you want to challenge your balance, we can bring foot onto calf Without assistance, most of us can make the knee. It's almost like a Lego part. It kind of fits, but you just don't want to push the knee too far to one side. So make sure that knee is strong, and you're pushing the knee as much into the foot as the foot presses into the knee. And then the safe way to do it, if you want to work high, or the safer way, is to bring heel onto ankle, or to heel onto thigh. Whoops, the toes face down. Either keeping hands on hips, or we open up that right hip with the right hand. Either staying here, or hands find the heart. Either staying here, or we stretch those hands high. And then just for fun, let's find arms out to the side, the palms face up. And we take a little twist towards that bent leg. Inhale through center. We twist it away. 2 more times each side. Inhaling and exhaling. Gravity waves are rippling through the universe. We take it the other way. Inhale.
It's the way of life.
Exhale, of course. If you fall out of this stuff, no big deal. Great thing about working at home.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere, really. And back to center. From here, let's bring hands back to our hips. Let's swivel this right knee front. We can lift the thigh up as we point the toe down. Now feel free to stay here. We're going to lean a little bit forward as we draw energy into that center of balance. Working our psoas connector there as we go along through the leg, if you choose. Lifting that leg a little higher if you have it in you. And then landing it lightly in a cross step. Just take a breath, relax. Now we're going to lower our center of balance as we push the front of the back knee into the back of the front knee. From here, arms up and